I bought this vegetable mix from the street walkers, and it was 80 rand. I thought it was a bargain, and it had everything that I needed that I wanted to use for my Sunday course. So yeah, and I ended up not using all of them. I didn't use the cabbage, the potatoes. I used the one that I had. I used all the pumpkin, and I didn't use the green pepper and the tomatoes. So for me, it was value for money, considering how much I would have spent in normal stores to get these. So I was very happy to be able to buy these. I'm hardly ever in a position where I can just go and buy them in a way. So if I do and go and buy them, the money that I'll be traveling is to go and buy them. It's equivalent to me just popping into the store and buying them. So I bought these, and that's what we are going to use to make our Sunday course. And the beetroot were so huge. I ended up using one, and the other day and the following day I used another one. And my protein for the day was oxtail. Oxtail is one of the things that I don't complicate it when I cook it, but I think personally, when it comes to protein, especially if I'm cooking it with a whole lot of things, but the nanje personally, when it comes to protein, I don't overdo it. I make it simply. I added 1 liter of water onto the oxtail, and I'm going to let it simmer down. I have peeled and cut my potatoes into wedges, and I added a little bit of olive oil. It's finished, that I decided to use the Be Well one, and I also added cumin and coriander powder, and I also added a little bit of turmeric there, and I also added aromat onto my wedges. I'm going to be baking or grilling them onto the oven. And another thing that I added is crushed chili. I wanted that kick. I've been enjoying the powdered chili a lot. I don't know, lately, and I'm that one person who loves fresh chili, but I've been enjoying this. And I added about 2 tablespoons of what they call tomato paste. This is a tablespoon. It's a table setting tablespoon, so I wasn't filling it up. But the amount that you saw there is the amount that you will get when you use a normal tablespoon or a measuring tablespoon. It's the same thing when if I say I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt or whatever, know that it's a measuring teaspoon. If you're going to use a normal teaspoon, you have to make it half, just like I did with the with the tomato paste. So I did add 2 tablespoons, not heaping, of tomato paste onto my potato wedges, and then I mix them in and I transferred them onto the pan, and then we are going to bake them or grill them or roast them in an oven up until they are well cooked. I think if you have been here for a while, you know already how we cook our pumpkin butternut. We boil it until it is cooked thoroughly, and then we drain it, and then we start seasoning it with butter and sugar on another pan, cast iron to be precise. So while those things were going, I was now starting on the carrot salad. If you have gloves, kindly use them. I didn't have gloves, so I washed my hands and I used my hands to massage the salt onto the carrots. That way the salt will draw out the water from the carrots, and then it will get softer, and then you squeeze out the liquid a little bit from the carrots and then take it out. Then you can start seasoning the way you want. If you don't squeeze out the liquid, what will happen is your salad will be watery. You don't want that. You don't want a salad that its juices will be running throughout your plate like our beetroot normally does. But with carrots, it's not gonna look nice. So you need to make sure that the water is drawn out. After you massage it, you're going to let it sit for an hour or 2 hours on the counter, making sure that all the water is going to be drawn out of the carrots. And then after you drain them, you can now season them with how you want. So the first 1 liter that I added onto my oxtail has now simmered down. I'm stirring it in, and I'm adding more water onto the oxtail. Remember, oxtail needs to be cooked. It needs to be cooked. It needs to be tender when you eat it. So I added I tried not to yawn. I added another 500 ml of water onto there. My pumpkin is ready. I'm draining it. I've opened cold water onto the sink so that the hot water doesn't mess my pipes. So I'm going to let the pumpkin sit on the colander, on the bowl, to drain all the excess water. And then by then my oxtail has simmered down once again. As you can see, the water that I just added there, it looks like there was no water at all. I added another 500 ml onto there, close the lid, let it simmer down again. My stove was on 4, and then I started on seasoning my pumpkin. Added butter, about 2 tablespoons of butter, and I added 2 tablespoons of sugar. Let the sugar melt before I add the pumpkin onto there. Our potatoes are ready. See how beautiful they look. They look absolutely delicious, and they were delicious. While they are cooling, I proceeded on to adding my pumpkin onto the pan, and it was so well cooked that I could just mash it with the spatula or this thing that I have. What do you call it? Is it an egg lifter? Is it an egg lifter? Something like that. But yeah, I don't know what it's called, this spoon is called, but I think it's an egg lifter. I could be wrong. You can correct me in the comment section, but you can see how easy it is for me to just mash it down and making sure that everything is soft and mashed. Yes, so I don't know what to call this lid, but it was so. But personally, guys, I still prefer butternut. I'm a butternut person. Pumpkin, I feel like you are lucky if you get it right, if you get an early ride, So can you see the water that is sitting at the bottom? We are going to drain it and try to squeeze a little bit without breaking the carrots out, and then drain it, and then we can now come and season it. Remember, there's already salt onto there, so you must be careful with how much salt you are adding onto it again. Like, add and taste, a little bit. I added chili flakes, and I added a little bit of green chilies, garlic, onion, celery, olive oil onto there. But this is a mixture that I have in a bottle that I added olive oil onto. I just added a tablespoon of that, and then I'm adding white wine vinegar onto there. I was supposed to add grain mustard, but I didn't have grain mustard, and I didn't want to add the mustard sauce. I feel like it wasn't going to do what I needed it to do. That is basically our carrot salad. It's simple and it is yummy, and this can go well with a whole lot of things. You can use this in your burger. If you are making burger, you can add this in your sandwiches. We can add this. You can add chicken to this, add mayo, and make a sandwich out of this. So this was done. I was now transferring it onto a clean bowl. I don't know why I do that, but I always feel like it looks neater in that way, to keep my things in a clean bowl other than keeping it in a bowl that I was mixing it in. So I think my oxtail is coming along. It's good. It's looking delicious. It's looking yummy. And I had mixed 1 tablespoon of flour with water in there. Never mind the splashes of the oil. It was from the spoon that I've been stirring it in. And I added that flour and water mixture onto the pot just to thicken the soup like this. It looked like this after that. Normally I would put a little bit of soy sauce to make it look dark, but today I decided no, I want to keep it the way it is. And then I proceeded on to making beetroot, and our meal will be ready. That's basically what we had. I skipped mayo, I skipped baked beans. I didn't do the traditional Sunday course, but nonetheless it was delicious and yummy.